Let's enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome back to the Movie Bar Podcast, the average movie podcast for average movie fans. You, by average movie fans, us. The bar is now open. Welcome to episode 53. I'm your host, Justin.
I'm John.
Kyle. I'm always last. Why would I?
I'm John. He's Kyle. It's
Woo.
Monday.
We're doing good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, joy of joys. Well, let's kick it off with some housekeeping and a rousing game of...
Has Kyle seen it?
If you're going to cut the thing in, don't do that in my ears.
Well, I can't cut it in on YouTube, so I got to do it live.
Oh, well, still.
So, well, now you guys know going forward. All right, Justin. Has Kyle seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
You'd fucking hope he has, but judging by the look
What
on
type
his
of
face,
question
he's
is
saying-
that? Jesus. Yes.
Well,
I've watched that in school. I've
Well,
seen that
listen,
like
hey.
30 million times.
Your track record isn't very good, so
It is pretty bad. Your
It's
track
bad,
record
but,
is
like,
pretty bad.
If you asked
Hey,
the big
you
movies,
hadn't seen Blues Brothers.
all right, yeah, that one was bad.
That is a big movie.
I mean, we could go back to past episodes and find every movie you haven't seen that you probably should have watched in school that you didn't. So, okay. So Kyle's seen one. Holy crap. This is
I'll
when
be
I
honest,
wish I had
knew
a
he was going to
soundbite.
ask that, and I should have told him not to ask that. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
that yeah. I'm respect me a little more than that.
No,
I promise. I promise.
you've lost our respect. When it
Blues
comes
Brothers
to
was bad. Especially after I watched that. That one was bad.
All right. Well, how about the 1994? Well, it's kind of a cult classic. Serial Mom.
I don't think he has.
Probably not.
No.
It's a good movie.
What's it
You
about?
should see that movie. It's about a suburban housewife in Baltimore who basically starts killing people. And the whole story behind it is based on a true story. Like all the characters and all of it. It's pretty good. It's got Sam Waterston from Law and Order.
That does sound fun.
It's a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Oh, Matthew Lillard.
Yep.
Too.
It's a movie I saw in theaters. I should not have seen in theaters because it came out in 1994. I was 11. But, you know, I got good relatives.
Who took you to see that?
My Aunt Jean.
Oh, okay. That explains it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I was actually listening to a old Slumber Party Massacre from the movie Crypt, and it just so happens they covered Friday the 13th, Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell, Final Friday. And two things I found interesting. Number one, that movie was pretty much a remake of the 1987 movie, The Hidden. Everything, just throwing Jason in there, was pretty much in that movie, I guess. The couple in the famous tent scene when Jason impales the woman, they were actually a couple in real life. Just prior to being casted, they broke up and then found out they had to work together in a very intimate scene, which made for a very awkward shooting day. So, yeah. Just some notes I found interesting. So
Sure. Kyle?
So there's a new video on YouTube.
there's two new videos. What's up with you tonight, man?
Sorry. I was zoning off. I was scrolled down reading the cast. So it's episode 52. We have the video version of that, and then John.
Remember, Once you've seen us, you can't unsee us.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And then once you know what John looks like, you'll be able to see his movie room short. Do you want to
Yep.
give us a description of what that is?
Well, it's pretty much the movie room in 60 seconds. I didn't go into detail. I just kind of roamed around the room for 60 seconds because that's as long as the videos can be as shorts. Maybe down the line there'll be more in-depth video of the collection and
You mean in depth, not in depth?
whatever. You know what? I'll end this shit right now. I'll tell you what. Anyways.
How about them trailers we got dropped? We had a new one drop for Insidious, The Red Door.
Mm-hmm.
What did
Did
y'all think of that? I watched it. I did.
I did too. They actually did a thing like where they counted down on YouTube for like 24 hours or something. Kind of like much how M. Night Shyamalan did with the knock at the door. Like, but I like it. I'll see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've only seen the first one, but it seems like it's everybody from the first one is back pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, other than the lady who I think passed away.
Yeah.
I think they're just using clips and cuts from previous movies for her, but
like the older lady.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
So I think this is what, the fifth one now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
So
like that. I've
And-
seen 2 or 3, but I don't. The first one was great.
Yeah.
I really
Patrick
liked it.
Wilson's directing this one too, which is cool.
So yeah, I thought that was cool. And then there was a trailer for a Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, Fubar, that's coming to Netflix, where he teams up with his daughter, who he finds out is a CIA agent, and he's a CIA agent, and I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It looked funny.
Yeah.
I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There's CinemaCon right now. Like I'm getting notifications on my phone. I guess Sony's having a panel, so by the time we end this, there might be a bunch of trailers and stuff, or maybe they might not be released publicly, but probably soon we'll get a bunch of new trailers from them.
They usually show everything after they've been revealed. So
Yeah.
Next week we'll devote a section to CinemaCon.
Yeah.
So
Well, alrighty. That'll be next week. For now, how about the movies we've watched? And to put them on the spot, let's do Kyle! Yay!
I'm ready this time. Well, of course, Evil Dead Rise came out, so I picked that one because I saw it.
how many times have you seen it?
Only once, but I'm probably gonna see it again tomorrow. So I think I'm gonna go see that in Renfield tomorrow because I haven't seen Renfield yet. But Evil Dead Rise, the reunion between two estranged. What?
We're not on the picks there, guys. It's movies we've watched.
Oh God.
You are. Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm ready this time. I'm ready. Yeah, here's the wrong goddamn thing.
Well, I only I watched Evil Dead Rise, and I watched a movie called Hell House, which was a documentary, and it came out in like 2001. It's about like this like
John talking about it.
super religious Christian group that had haunted houses that were, Christian stuff. So I watched that, and then The Mist, and it actually paired well with The Mist. So
There's like 2 other Hell Houses too, right?
yeah.
And then there's a Hell House Origins coming this year.
Well, are those ones related to, or are those like their own kind of thing?
It's all related.
Okay.
It's not like Halloween 3. It's not like that.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
mine was a documentary. It wasn't a movie.
No, dude, it's fake.
No, the documentary isn't. I think they're different things. I think I watched different things because I know there's Hell House movies, but
Are you talking about Hell House LLC?
no. It's just Hell House. It's a documentary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Totally
Yeah.
separate movie. I'm sorry.
Because that's what the group called their like haunted houses was Hell House. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's just like shows them building it and stuff, but it's just interesting, kind of.
Wow, that's really gonna fuck somebody up when they go to watch the Christian version and see the other one with bodies and everything.
Yeah, because I mean, this when they start showing the stuff they're doing too, it's some crazy shit.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I had a light week.
I guess so.
Oh, we're gonna skip to me now. Haha. You were all ready to go, weren't you?
I am ready.
Well, I was sick this week. Terribly, terribly sick this week. So I watched Wet Hot American Summer.
Mhm.
I hadn't seen that before.
Wet Hot American
Oh.
Summer.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that before.
There's a Netflix show too.
Yeah, I seen something about that, but yeah. I watched that. I watched that manhunt one about the Boston Marathon bombings.
Oh, yep. What you think? Was it good?
Yeah. Brings up all the hate I have for that little bastard. I watched Quasi,
Okay.
which we'll talk about that later. And I watched The Mist, and then I also watched both Ace Ventura movies, a couple Lethal Weapons here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun day, fun week. So how about you, John?
All right. So I had a light week this week. So I watched
Only 15.
Yeah. Well, I watched 10 movies this weekend alone. So I watched Saw 3, which I'm continuing the Saw series. And then I decided to watch Twister. I haven't seen that in a long time. Like, that was a really good movie.
You should be getting a trailer for that soon. That's
My-
coming out next year.
Might debut at CinemaCon. Who knows? So then, of course, Twister led me to Into the Storm, which was kind of the same concept, but more of like a modern day, like handheld cameras and stuff. Was really good. And then I watched San Andreas, continuing my world-ending series. And then I watched 12 Feet Deep, which is about two sisters that are trapped in a pool, a public pool. Really good movie. Then I watched the first episode of Joe Bob's Last Drive-In, season 5, came out Friday, which was Zombie Flesh Eaters or Zombie. Yeah. And then I went down the Lethal Weapon rabbit hole with Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, and 4. We went to the drive-in Saturday night and we saw the Super Mario Brothers movie, which was really good. Which I'm going to
5
talk about later.
stars.
I'm going to talk about that later. And I also have an audio clip from our mascot who was making his return for his thoughts on the movie. So then I watched the original Super Mario Brothers movie.
Sorry.
It wasn't as bad.
I know, but still, it's not
And-
great either.
And I was doing some research on it, and I found out that was actually the first region-free Blu-ray, even though it says Region B on it, which is like Europe and all that, or whatever Region B is. So now I'm like, okay, if it's region-free, it'll play on any Blu-ray player. Now I have to find it. So, and then I watched Skyscraper and Baywatch, and I'm in the process of watching Tales of Halloween, but I haven't finished it yet. And I watched The Mist. So busy week.
Fun. Well, let's kick off some picks of the week with me. So I chose Quasi. A hapless hunchback yearns for love, but finds himself in the middle of a deadly feud between the Pope and the King of France when they each order the misfit to kill the other. It was initially released April 20th, 2023, directed by Kevin Heffernan. Broken Lizard movie. Not their best, not their worst, but I thought it was pretty darn hilarious. Had a lot of good gags in it, but overall pretty good movie. I think it's worth a watch.
You know, they announced that they're doing Super Troopers 3 and Pot Fest.
I believe Pop Fest. I could take or leave Super Troopers 3. The second one wasn't all that great. It kind of lacked something in it. But I appreciated this movie. This movie was pretty good.
Oh. That's on Hulu, correct?
Yes, it is on Hulu. Hulu.
Okay.
All right, Kyle, go ahead. Regale us with our
Oh,
Evil Dead
Nah,
summary.
I already went. Whatever. It's good. Go see it.
Come on, do
No,
it.
you got to read the whole thing,
All
damn it.
right, all right. Well, Evil Dead Rise, a reunion between two estranged sisters, gets cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons, thrusting them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish version of family imaginable. Came out April 21st, 2023, directed by Lee Cronin. And yeah, no, it was, it was really good.
Still
I think-
manages to pick a movie newer than the one I picked.
Come on, we all knew this was going to be his pick the
Yeah,
day
I
it
know.
came out.
Yeah, we know.
It is. The actress that plays the main demon possessed person is really good in it, so it's worth watching just for that. And actually, she was in the Mist TV show, so it somehow connects to this episode.
Oh, thank God it connects. I was
Ring
worried
around
there.
the Rosie. Anyway, all right, John, how about you?
All right, so my pick, which is also Hunter's pick this week, is the Super Mario Brothers movie. With help from Princess Peach, Mario gets ready to square off against the all-powerful Bowser to stop his plans from conquering the world. It was released on April 5th, 2023, and was directed by Aaron Hovovich and Michael Jelenic.
Wow. Butcher that one for Horvath. Wow.
Horvath, yeah, I'm sorry.
Wow. He
I'm bad
combined the
with
two
names.
names.
Yeah. But pretty good. I mean, awesome. Well, it was awesome. It kind of touches on everything from the past of Mario.
I would
Like
hope so.
the TV show, Mario Kart, Donkey Kong Country. Like I was sitting there laughing at every Diddy Kong, every little thing. I was yeah, I remember that. But right now we're gonna add in Hunter's thoughts. So thank you, Hunter, for coming back to the podcast. We've missed you, even though we hear your voice every week in the opening credits. Well, at least I do when I edit this.
But all right, let's move along to our main topic of the week.
So this week we are covering The Mist. It is rated R for violence, terror, gore, and language. It was released on November 21st, 2007. It was directed by Frank Darabont.
It is adapted from The Mist by Stephen King, distributed by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, Filmflex, the Weinstein Company, fuck them, Dimension Films, and had a budget of $18 million, currently streaming on Netflix.
And the cast includes Thomas Jane as David Drayden, Marcia Gay Harden as Mrs. Kermode, Laurie Holden as Amanda Dunphy, Andre Braugher as Brent Norden, Toby Jones as Ollie Weeks, William Sadler as Jim Grondin, Jeffrey DeMunn as Dan Miller, Francis Sternhagen as Irene Repler, Sam Witwer as Private Wayne Jessup, Alexa Davalos as Sally, Nathan Gamble as Billy Drayden, Chris Owen as Norm, a bag boy, Robert Trevalier as Bud Brown, David Jensen as Myron LaFleur, and then Melissa McBride as an unnamed woman.
That's a hell of a cast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shermanator, the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Thomas Jane.
Yeah. And obviously you can see a lot of them ended up being on The Walking Dead, which makes sense.
Yes. It was after this movie that Darabont wanted Thomas Jane to be on The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
could
if
see
he
him
was.
being the Rick. I don't think he was ever. I mean, I stopped watching after so many
I never
seasons,
seen
but
The Walking Dead, so
it's really good. But
That's
I could
really
see him being
surprising.
the character. Yeah.
That's
You should
that's
definitely-
a show you would watch.
Yeah.
I tried.
You should watch the first season. Even if you don't watch anything else. First season alone is great.
If I can't get into it by the end of the first episode, I don't bother. Unless it was Jersey
Yeah,
Shore.
it did take some time to. Yeah, you stupid tweaker. Um,
That was a dark period of my life.
I still haven't forgiven you for that.
So, all right, should we just start discussing the movie?
Yeah, possibly.
Well, a severe thunderstorm strikes Bridgeton, Maine, causing a tree to fall in the lakeside home of artist David Drayton, his wife Stephanie, and their 8-year-old son Billy's house.
And then while they're surveying the damage the next morning, they notice a thick mist advancing over the lake. And David and Billy leave for town with their neighbor Brett Norden to buy supplies at the store.
Did you guys notice the stuff that was in his art, like his workshop?
I saw there was a Thing poster.
The
It's a
Thing
lot of-
poster. He was painting a like a Clint Eastwood type character.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was the gunslinger. That was a nod
Yeah.
to the Dark Tower.
Yeah, and I believe there was a reference to Christine in there too.
Oh yeah, lots
So
of.
yeah.
But now we get them down in the center there. They're at the supermarket, and they're watching police cars speeding around. When all of a sudden you got a scared local comes running, bursting into the grocery store here, saying, there's something in the mist. There's something in the mist. Something grabbed my buddy. I heard him screaming. And eventually the mist just envelops the store. They lock the door. And I mean, it's panic starting. I mean, I can't imagine the hell they're thinking when some guy comes running into a store,
Bloody
yelling
too.
about bloody, and yelling about somebody getting taken into a mist. Which, I mean, the mist coming down onto the water there at the beginning was, this is ominous enough. If you're a local in an area like that, you know what fog looks like when it rolls in and when it rolls out.
Yeah.
So, they had a right to be quite unnerved about it.
Mm-hmm.
But as we see, small town America.
Well, after discussing, one lady leaves to go home to her children because I believe the oldest one was 8 and doesn't remember that she was watching her daughter.
Yeah, I couldn't
or
help
sibling.
it. So yeah, she's one from The Walking Dead, which is funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's the character I don't like in this right here on the beginning, just because why the hell are you leaving an 8-year-old at home to watch another
Yeah.
child?
Hey, wait a minute! Didn't we leave him at home when he was 8?
Oh,
Yeah, but-
he's not your child.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I had video games. That was fine.
Yeah, if you weren't clogging the toilet. Against David's advice, they all go in the back, and the generator is going, but it's smoking up. So obviously something's blocking it. So the Shermanator, Bagger Norm, decides to go outside to fix it, where he is grabbed by a tentacled creature and was dragged into the mist. I was reading the facts, and the way they were able to keep the mist at the door was by raising the temperature and the air pressure in the loading dock. That's why the mist didn't roll in. But I mean, can we talk about these tentacles, man?
Yeah.
I mean, that's when I was watching, as I'm watching it. I mean, if you read Stephen King, I mean, it's one thing, but to see his visions put out there, but him and Darabont, when they make a movie together, dear God, because I mean, this movie runs the gamut of on all your different types of horror. There's so much psychological horror in here. There's just the straight kind of community horror of what happens when you get a small group of people like that in a small town, put in a lot of stress and put into a pressure cooker, so to sense. It's got the creature horror in it. There's a couple jump scares in there. I mean, this movie just it really plays on you. And those tentacles, bleh. I mean, they remind me of the ones from the Dreamcatcher,
Yes.
but a little bit more obviously attached. But
so this was the third movie at the time that Frank Darabont had adapted from a Stephen King novel. The other two being The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile. And Stephen King was actually afraid of this movie when it was adapted, rightfully so. So there are two versions of this film. There's the one with like color, like, normal, and then a black and white version. There's nothing added to the black and white version. It just makes it look like a 1950s horror film, like, how they were back in the day. But so they go back into the store and they start arguing with the neighbor. And he thinks it's all a game.
So here's one of my problems with this
Mhm.
is like he's a little bit too quick to say it's
Yeah.
a joke.
Yeah.
I think he's played a little too extreme and a little too touchy. Because like he didn't even like clearly there's something going on. There's something out there. This mist is abnormal. He's seen evidence of this. So he shouldn't
They
just,
have part of the tentacle in the
yeah.
friggin' loading dock.
And he's just completely just unwilling to even give it a second. Just immediately assumes that these four people, three of which don't give two shits about him, don't know him, don't. So it just doesn't make any sense that he'd be that hardcore against it to think that they're playing a trick on him like that. So,
but it's also at this point where we learn the history between him and the main character, where he sued him for something. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Like
something to
neighbor
do with
disputes.
property
Yeah.
damage or something. Yeah.
And they rode there together. Like, he took him to the store because his car got hit by a tree. Like,
Well,
as a
they bonded
person,
over the car. So
yeah, as somebody that has had two trees falling on his house, if a neighbor said, "Hey, your car is under a tree, let me take you somewhere," I'm gonna be like, "Okay, thank you, thankful."
yeah,
Like,
be a nice guy.
yeah, I'm not gonna. And then if something happened, I'm not gonna be like, "You asshole, you're conspiring with the town to make me look like a fool."
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Well, anyways, this guy, still doesn't believe there's monsters out there, so David and Ollie direct the customers to barricade the front storefront windows. And Mrs. Cormody, a religious woman, begins preaching about impending Armageddon, and then Brent, still disbelieving everything, leaves the store with a small group, going into the mist, to seek outside help from whatever might be around. But his group is attacked by an unseen force and presumably killed. And one of them has like a rope tied to him because they want to see how far he can get and if he can come back. But safe to say, he does not come back.
Oh, he
Yeah,
comes back, just not in one piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a small effects issue with that scene because he's sitting there, he's holding the rope, and it goes like up, and it goes
Yeah.
taut and all that stuff. And they show it in his hand, and it comes down, and goes zoop, zoop, zoop. It's just one of those like zigzags, like, oh. You might have missed that, but I mean that was a pretty good scene. The rope just starts pulling out of their hands, and they start reaching for things, and so. But
And then when they pull it back, and as he's pulling it,
yeah,
it
I would have
starts getting
stopped.
bloody. Yeah, I wouldn't have touched it with the blood.
Yeah.
No,
But
I would have stopped.
They pull it, and then he comes up with just half his waist.
Yeah. And I mean it's about this time that like in the movie I just want to reach through the screen and just stab Miss Carmody as many
Oh my God.
possible times as I can. That lady drives me nuts. And I hate to say it, I probably have family who's gonna listen to this, but that's Jay.
I was thinking the same thing, but I wasn't going to say it out of respect for the family. But it's
no, yeah, no, that's all I can ever picture. And every time I just want to be no.
But you got to give Marsha Gray Harden props.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. She did
played that role
tremendous.
to the fucking bone. Like,
Tremendous. Just super two-faced. Like the very bold and obvious two-face that comes along with that style of thinking was just it really to her a chef's kiss. I mean, she did it perfectly.
And you see it as the movie progresses, she starts developing like a cult-like following with these people.
More and more and more and more. Just
So now David forms connections with several people in the store, including Amanda Dunphy and Irene Repler, two teachers who came in conflict with Carmody over her religious take on the ongoing disaster. Was one of those that old lady?
yeah, when she freaking clocked her, that was great.
Yeah.
With an apple or something.
Yeah, it was great. Well
Um,
deserved.
so they start talking about a gun. You know, anybody have a gun? Amanda carries a revolver in her purse and gives it to Ollie, of all people, who is actually a former regional shooting champion. And as the night falls, enormous flying insects are attracted to the lights, swarm the store's windows, because basically the store is an old-fashioned supermarket where everything, the whole front of the window, front of the building is a window. One of the predators, including a giant locust, smashes a window, allowing both species inside. In an ensuing panic, 2 people are killed while another receives fatal burns while attempting to incinerate the insects. And meanwhile, Carmody is miraculously spared from an insect, which convinces her to proselytize more fervently and gain followers among the survivors.
Do you not read the words that you're giving yourself to read?
No, I do not. I need to stop doing that. So I was reading how they did this. And what they did was to impact the windows, they would throw baseballs and hit like the insects are hitting, and then digitally remove them and insert the insects or whatever. And I thought that was pretty cool. Like, you know, little behind the magic.
Yeah.
But
No,
now, what do we think about these insects and dinosaur-like creatures, whatever?
I mean, when it got the babysitter there, that was
Yeah.
great. I mean, the face just swells up and she's just dead. I mean, that was a pretty good little effect scene there.
Yeah.
Just to add a little bit more into the horror there. But no, I thought that was pretty good. Chasing him around with the mop, beating the crap out of him.
Mhm.
That was
Using
neat.
anything they can in the store.
Gotta do what you can. Do what you gotta do.
So this movie was actually shot in 37 days. That's not bad for a single scene location.
Yeah. Get to destroy a grocery store. Sounds like fun. So now after this attack, David's gonna have to lead a group over to the pharmacy, get some supplies, where they are attacked by a couple giant spiders, forcing them to retreat. And while they're in there, they see, a whole bunch of people caught up in the spider webs.
Mhm.
A bunch of egg sacs growing out of them, new baby alien spiders all crawling out of them, and fun stuff. At this point, Commodore who had opposed the expedition, uses the failure to increase her influence and offering protection to Divine Wraith to the new converts. Meanwhile, the next day, while they go looking for the all military guys to see what was going on at that military base, they find 2 of them hanging. Which, nothing implies guilt more than dangly feet. But they get the 3rd one to fess up. They had a government project to discover other dimensions and all that stuff, bringing the supernatural horror in there. Good stuff. They opened up another doorway there. Angered and vengeful, Carmody's followers offer Jessup up as a sacrifice, expel him outside, where he is immediately cranked up by a giant praying mantis-looking thing and finished off.
Bye-bye.
He put up a hell of a fight, though.
Yeah, I mean, I like how in this movie, like, they're getting progressively bigger, and you still don't know what those tentacles were attached to.
I think it's interesting because do you guys know that actor?
Yes.
At all?
No.
Yeah.
He was in Smallville.
Oh, because I know him. He's and he's like a Star Wars guy for me because he's like the main guy in the Force Unleashed games, and then
Yep.
he's like Darth Maul now, essentially. Like he voice acts for him and stuff.
Yeah, he was he played the Doomsday character on the Smallville show.
Oh yeah, he's great. I always like when I see him. I think he always does a great job. And yeah, his death is pretty, because like that's when you really start to hate them because they kill him for no reason. But anyways, as David and his group prepare to leave the store the next morning, they're stopped by Carmody once again. Billy has been chosen by her group to be delivered as the next sacrifice to appease the monsters. And as the crowd starts to descend on Amanda and Billy, Ollie shoots and kills Carmody with his skills that he has with the gun. And then once their leader's dead, the other survivors kind of allow the group to leave. The group kind of scatters once they reach the parking lot, and Ollie is devoured by a giant praying mantis-like creature, and the other two are killed by spider creatures from the pharmacy. Bud runs back to the store and is led inside by the patrons, but David, Billy, Dan, Amanda, and Irene reach David's car and are able to leave.
I mean, I love that when he shoots the lady,
Yeah.
and he's like trying to justify it to everybody. Like he first shoots, he's like, "I shot her, you had to." He's like, "Okay," and then he keeps
Yeah.
explaining. He's like, I didn't have another choice." He's like, "That's why I said okay."
Yeah.
You know, that was a great scene. Loved her getting her comeuppance.
Did you cheer when that happened, Justin?
First time, yes.
Okay. If you didn't, I would have been upset. But
First time I saw that in the theater, yes. Very much so. All right, now we got them driving through the mist. David finds his home destroyed, his wife dead, up trying to fix the tree damage she shouldn't have been doing anyway. Devastated, drives away from town, passing another colossal six-legged beast, and eventually running out of gas. With no means of escaping the mist, the adults decide to end their lives.
aiding their suicide, David shoots Billy and the other 3 survivors with his 4 remaining bullets, leaving the car to be taken by the creatures. The mist suddenly dissipates, revealing the vanguard of the U.S. Army armored column, beginning the process of exterminating the creatures and restoring order. David, seeing that the army has also rescued survivors, including the woman who left to get her children, realizes that he killed his son and fellow survivors as they were just moments away from rescue. He drops to his knees, screaming in despair.
My problem with it is there's no way you don't figure out a solution to do that with the bullets you have and take everybody with you. It's very easy. I mean, I would not be letting somebody else hold my kid to do that. You know, I'd have to do the old, but yeah. Like I get why they did it, obviously, for the movie and all that stuff. So I mean, it really hits you when you realize the gravity of what he just did and what's actually happening. But
every time there was a scene with David and Billy, I saw Hunter. I'm like, okay, I couldn't take myself away from that, and it's like, what would I do in that situation? Like, you know, Kyle, imagine it was Jake, the pug.
Yeah.
You know, and and then like when he's crying because he doesn't want him to leave, and that just brought up a lot of emotions with me in this movie.
It's a tough movie to watch now. Good Lord. But now I've seen it that last time I have to see it.
Yeah.
It takes nothing away from this movie. I love this movie. It's a great movie, but I can't watch this movie.
So, but yeah.
I mean, what did you really think about that ending, Kyle?
Well, I knew the ending, sadly. I definitely wish I didn't. I think it would have, like, it's still, it's still great. Like, I'm not denying that, but I kind of knew everything was building in that, so that you know, it was. I feel like I can only imagine the first time you watch this, and then that happens, you're like, oh my god. But I knew that happened, sadly. But still great.
I forgot it happened. And I copied the notes for this movie, and I forgot that happened. But you know, that's what makes it scary. Like your seconds, you don't know what the next minute's going to bring.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I mean, this just like you'd think you've seen all the different levels of horror that you could see coming through this movie, and then all of a sudden they get you that last one. Here it is. That's
Seconds,
the real
seconds.
scare. That's the real horror in this movie, is that it ends like that. That knowledge of, oh, 30 seconds, a minute, tops. You know, that's where the real horror of this movie comes in. 'Cause I mean, like the whole way through the movie, you're kind of watching it, and as I'm watching it this time, I'm paying attention to the way the people are interacting with everybody, and everybody who said that they weren't going to run into something didn't run into something. They survived.
Yeah.
Everybody who thought there was something in there had an interaction with something in there. You know what I mean? So it's one of those, like, it's one of those movies, like it still raised the question, like, was it really a government thing? It's like a head thing, because that's the way it played out.
Yeah.
Everybody who thought that they'd be fine were fine. Everybody who thought that they were going to get killed, with the exception of the bag boy. He thought he'd be fine, but
we didn't know what was out there at the time with him.
Yeah, exactly.
And that kind of shows like the different beliefs people have. She thinks she's saved because of her religion.
Mhm.
And but what did that get her? It got her fucking killed.
Mhm.
Like a bullet, it, it's
He'll
definitely
save you from that stuff, but he's not going to save you from everybody else.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
But she kept pushing the envelope and pushing the buttons. It was bound to happen. If it wasn't Ollie that shot her, it would have been that old lady.
Yep.
It
She
would have been
had to
somebody
get it.
else. If they tried to take Billy, it would have been David.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
You know.
100%.
So
All right. Well, aside from the fact that it's Maine and it's Stephen King, what'd you think of the setting in that grocery store?
I think instantly you're like, oh, they're trapped in somewhere that has plenty of food and supplies and stuff, but they still manage. I mean, that's kind of the point of the movie, is that it's not really the monsters outside, it's monsters inside, which is definitely this is pretty much the same as The Walking Dead, but it's this is an interesting setting because they literally, most apocalypse stuff, it's like, oh, we gotta look for food, but they're set, but they still manage to fuck it up.
Yep, they've got heat. They've got mostly electricity.
Yeah.
But
how many days does this take place? Is it 2 or 3?
I think
don't
2,
know.
because when he
Yeah, I think
like
there's 2 night times.
yeah, when he wakes up after they get back and he like passes out, she's like, oh, it's only been 2 days or something.
Yeah, so they left on the 3rd day. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. So,
but the supermarket, perfect setting. Pharmacy right next door, perfect.
mhm.
Anything the supermarket doesn't have.
Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, using the supermarket gives you that perfect melting pot. Everybody in the town has to go there.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
that's where everybody is. So that's where you're going to get that microcosm of every corner and every
Mhm.
walk of life that you run into there, especially in a small town up in Maine somewhere. Oh, how did you like all the effects?
The effects were awesome.
Yeah, I mean, for 2007, I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the CGI is gonna be a little wonky, but
Yeah,
I mean,
like when the Shermanator got pulled. Like
yeah.
the final actual pull, like you could kind of see it go like Photoshop.
Yeah.
And Ollie almost clocked him with the friggin' axe when he swung it too.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But you know, like the creatures, you don't really see the main creature, but you see like the insects and the bird-like things.
Yeah, I
And
mean they showed you enough of the smaller guys to really make
yeah,
your imagination run wild with the big hulking shadows that they had that would
yeah,
just kind of come out of nowhere.
and the spiders, like, yeah,
Yeah, the whole spider web acid melting thing that'd be enough to keep me in the building.
yeah.
Did you guys have a great favorite death?
Carmody,
Hmm.
just on principle.
Yeah, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. She deserved it.
I do think the the Shermanator guy's death, it was unexpected for me. I didn't know there was going to be like how much death and stuff would be in it that we actually see. So
Yeah.
But I mean, besides Carmody, it's definitely the babysitter when she gets bit and
Yeah. Although when the pterodactyl thing kind of starts chomping the guy's, ripping the back of the guy's neck out
Mhm.
when it first comes through the window, that was a pretty good one too.
yeah.
Oh, so what did you guys think of the horror of this movie? I mean, I think this is a good one to discuss this kind of topic. So, like I said, I felt that it had every different type of horror you could kind of throw in a movie.
Yeah.
Definitely covered all the bases.
Mhm.
And, you know, everybody's afraid of something.
hmm
And if this movie doesn't touch on something you're afraid of, then good luck to you. Because this covers
Yeah.
just about every possible, not just giant creatures outside, but like, you know, the fear of being,
Bugs.
yeah, bugs being trapped and isolated in one location with
Mhm.
fucking crazy ass fucking preacher ladies, like
Natural disasters.
natural disasters. You're at your last moment and you don't know what to do besides shoot yourself, and then you shoot your son, and then you go to turn the gun on yourself and there's no bullets left, and then you
Mhm.
find out you're going to be saved minutes later. Like, it covers all the bases.
Mhm. This one will really mess you up if you think about it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about the length? It is longer than our normal go-abouts. A little over 2 hours, 2 hours and 6 minutes. But I
Yeah.
mean, I kind of feel like it needed it. It kind of had to drag out a little bit,
Mhm.
just to kind of lay the groundworks for that wonderful triumphant victory of them shooting
Yeah.
Carmody.
And it needs
Just to
a,
have it,
Yeah.
yeah, to have a crescendo down to that amazing moment of shock and disbelief.
And it goes by so quickly because it's like there's always something going on,
Yeah, there's enough
which,
happening between the main line and the side stories, and it's keeping you thinking, it's
yeah,
keeping you guessing.
from the moment they get in the store, oh, what's going on? Oh, we lost power and you have to pay by check. Okay.
hmm
And then the creature in the back, and then the friggin' shit with the neighbor, and then the group's dividing. Like, that's the worst thing to do is divide in a group when you don't know what's going on outside. Like,
hmm
and then like every little detail leads to the next thing, when the creatures fly in and okay, we're gonna burn them, then the guy gets burned. So now we gotta go to the pharmacy. It just fucking continually kept going and going.
Just
And it kind of
snowballs.
flew by. Yeah.
hmm Right, that would bring us to us. And do we recommend this movie? I, for one, 1000% recommend this movie if you can handle it. I only recommend it once, though. Don't watch it a second
Yeah.
time. Once is all you need.
I second that motion.
I third that motion.
You third it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Motion passed. We recommend this movie.
Yay. That's purple, Kyle.
In November 2013, Bob Weinstein revealed that Darabont and he were developing a 10-part television series based on the film. In February 2016, Spike picked up the pilot, and in April 2016, Spike ordered the series. Adam Bernstein directed the pilot, which premiered on June 22nd, 2017. But I think it was the only season. It was canceled, so who knows?
Has anybody seen it?
No.
Let me see if it's streaming anywhere. I'd be afraid to check it out.
I know you can buy it on Vudu, but I don't know about actual just streaming.
The Mist TV series. Yeah, it's available on Apple TV, Amazon for sale, Google Play, Vudu.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe someday buy it and watch it, but I think I'm good for now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you can't surpass that movie.
Yeah.
All right, so how about ratings? What do you give this one there, John boy?
I give it 3.5 stars. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good movie, effects, all that, but that lady really brought it down. I just couldn't stand, like, I don't care what religion you believe in, I'm all for it, but when you start trying to force it upon others, like, that lady worked. She did a hell of a job.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it a 4.5.
Kyle?
I'll give it a 3.5 or 4, probably same.
All right. I'm going 4.5. I love this movie. Yeah, she drives me nuts, but she does such a good job at it. I mean, you believe that she believes that crap. So I'm right there, 4.5. IMDb went with 7.1. Rotten Tomatoes, 72%. Letterboxd, 3.4. And next week...
Next week, we are covering 1991's Nothing But Trouble. Kyle, have you seen that movie?
No, you already asked that.
I can't remember what. Listen, you've been
Good
fucking
news.
up all night.
He's going to watch it
week,
next
you will.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
was
fun
waiting.
movie. I love this movie. This movie's great.
Yeah.
This is a classic. I've been watching this since my childhood.
Yeah.
Not too many other people.
The first
need to
time
know
I
about
watched it with you, Justin. I'm pretty sure the first time I watched it was with you.
Yeah, see that? It's a great movie. I love this movie.
I have some live news from CinemaCon. Very
All right.
important.
Okay.
Kraven the Hunter will be R-rated, and the Rhino will be in it. Isn't that exciting?
What is Kraven the
We
Hunter?
shall see, because they destroyed Morbius, and
Yeah.
Morbius was a shitty
Whoa,
goddamn movie.
What is Kraven the? I don't know what that
Kraven the
is.
Hunter is
Spider-Man.
a villain from the Spider-Man universe.
Well,
Who
apparently
hunts Spider-Man.
apparently in the trailer, Kraven like bites somebody's face off like an animal. So
He's
that sounds exciting.
Is this under Marvel or is this under Sony?
Marvel, Spider-Man, their guy.
But it's
Sony,
yeah.
It'll be Sony movie, yeah.
It'll be in the Venom verse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, next week we'll also be covering all the happenings of CinemaCon, whatever it is. All right.
And with that breaking news, the bar is now closed.
Thank you so much for listening. You can follow us and stay up to date with the podcast at the Movie Bar Pod on Twitter, at Movie Bar Podcast on Instagram, and at the Movie Bar Podcast on Facebook. And watch our episodes on YouTube at Movie Bar Pod.
We are on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Podcast, Anchor, Google Podcast, and most places you listen to your podcasts. Be sure to check out our website, www.moviebarpod.com.
And thank you for listening. And please let us know what you want to hear by contacting us on social media or via email at themoviebar@outlook.com. Be sure to like and subscribe and review the podcast on all podcast platforms. Bye.
Go on now, get!
Bye.
Go on now, yeah.